In this video, we'll be discussing the system requirements to use the BPA EHR, along with different equipment that can be interfaced with it. To start off with, we'll look at the hardware recommendations. This will be for the computer you use, and primarily these recommendations surround using a modern web browser, which is Google Chrome. That's typically how this program, the EHR, is going to be accessed. Now, these recommendations will help you to have a good experience in using the EHR through a browser. You can see for a processor, we recommend an Intel i5 or an AMD Ryzen 5 or something comparable in the Apple Mac world to be able to have a good experience. Similarly, 8 gigs or greater of RAM. For a storage drive, a solid state drive, pretty much all new computers are going to have that as opposed to the hard disk drives, more common in the past. If you're going to be using a tablet, having an Apple A10 or M series processor or even greater, or something comparable for an Android tablet. And then at the bottom, you'll notice for bandwidth, we recommend 16 megabits per second download and 2 megabits per second upload speed. That is a bare minimum for up to 10 users using the EHR. Now, keep in mind if you have other persons using the internet for other reasons, maybe there's internet radio or some other streaming going on in the office, maybe you have a Wi-Fi that's shared out, just keep in mind that will increase your needs for greater bandwidth. But this is just a bare minimum we wanted to specify. As we go to the next page here, you'll notice our software recommendations. On the left-hand side, as we mentioned already, the Google Chrome browser is what is supported. So you'll want to use that if you're using Windows, having a supported operating system, which currently is Windows 10 and Windows 11. Professional or enterprise editions are recommended. And if you're using a Mac OS, you still will need to download and use the Google Chrome browser, and just keeping the current Mac OS that's supported by Apple. For a tablet operating system, this is going to use the iEHR application, and you can find that application in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. To be able to run it, you will need an iOS 11 or later for Apple, or Android 5.0 or later. Now, sometimes there's other equipment that's used in connection with the EHR. First of all, we'll consider scanners, and sometimes we get questions as to what scanners can be used, and quite a variety can be used to scan and get data into the EHR. So as you can see here, different types, including document feed style scanners. Those are going to be much more efficient if you have a larger volume of scans that can process so much more at a time. But flatbed scanners can also be used, especially if infrequent scans are needed or it's a very low volume. Now, card scanners can also be used to integrate with the EHR. Of course, many want to scan in the insurance and ID cards into the system. Now, there's also a feature, what's called OCR, or optical character recognition. That can actually read the data on the card that's scanned and populate and actually put in that data, that text, into the record in the EHR. Now, if you want that functionality, the only scanner that currently supports that is the ScanShell 800DX with the OCR software. So if you want that OCR functionality, just make note of that. And then finally, under the medical equipment page, there's different equipment that can be integrated as well, and we have some recommended models. As you can see, if you want to capture vital signs or EKG, things like that, you'll see some of those specific models listed there on the left. In the middle, sometimes ones want to capture a patient's signature, maybe a consent form or some other HIPAA form that they want signed. We have the model numbers listed that we recommend and are supported for that. And then finally at the right, you'll notice a lab specimen printer. Sometimes labels are desired to print for lab specimens, and the Dymo Label Writer 450 Turbo is the model number recommended. Now, for each of these and any medical equipment, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions on. We do always recommend purchasing from either the manufacturer or an authorized reseller, where you're sure to get that technical support and also the necessary drivers to make sure it functions well. Well, we hope this overview video helped you out to see what system requirements are needed. Feel free again to reach out to us if you have any other questions. Thanks for watching.